Hello, this is Manesh Patel from ichimokutrade.com. Today is August 19, 2011, where basically we'll talk about all the global markets from everything from Europe to Asia to the US. Okay? And also South America. So a normal disclaimer to state this is for education use only. Today's charts we're going to basically use Thinkorswim from TD Ameritrade and also eSignal. Whoops. Here are my contact details here at info@eicapital.com. You could access our website here at ichimokutrade.com for any of our free videos and other resources from email alerts, multiple time frame email alerts, and so forth. Okay, so let's go through. First, we're going to go for our heat map here of the world exchanges, and we're going to look here and see exactly what's going on. Basically looking at dailies and weeklies. If you got 5 and 5 on both, that means the trends are already starting to occur. They got to be the same color, but what you're looking for are 2s and 4s here on the daily, and 2 4s and 5s on basically the weekly. All these trends are already occurring. There's a lot of conflict here in Canada and Mexico. Nothing here. Well, it could have been a possibility Brazil, but the long term is kind of trend. Nothing going on. So a lot of these, remember, we've been talking about these for the last couple of weeks. A lot of them on the weekly time frame, we're getting close to getting their resistances, which their pivot highs. And you could see that the 5s are still there. So we're pretty much getting close to their resistances right now, major resistances, and we're probably getting ready to touch them too if we have not already. Here's an opportunity here in Korea, but it has not already, and keeps on going and down, down, down. And remember, the only countries that actually have blown past the resistances were Switzerland, Turkey, and Malaysia, which is the ones that we covered a lot for the last couple of months. And those were opportunities that got to the resistances a while back ago and kind of went past them. Okay, so let's go through and start looking at these charts. Let me shrink this down a little. Okay, it doesn't work. Let's shrink this occur. Now remember, on the left-hand side is basically a daily time frame. On the right-hand side is basically the weekly time frame here. And let's go through and start looking at Germany first. Here, and if you look at Germany, you could see that we're getting close to these resistances here, which is right around 72000. So we haven't quite got to its major resistance right now, but we're getting close to it. Let's see if there's some minor ones here. Yeah, and you could see that there's a lot of mess going on here. So we're getting very close to its resistance level right there. May be a couple of more points to the upside, but we're getting very close to pretty much being ended on as far as that's concerned. France, we're talking about here. You can see we popped out of the cloud right now. We're very close to these resistances here. Right, major resistance on this one is going to be around roughly around, one of them is going to be around 35.29. Next one's going to be this pivot high, which is 35.88. So we're getting close into the 3,500 value, which is pretty much its resistance moving forward. And you could see from here, Germany still very, very strong compared to France, because it is way above the cloud, whereas France basically just now popped out of the cloud where the sentiment's just changed. Amsterdam, if you look here, you could see here we're basically approaching a major resistance right now. So this one kind of is in need of a pullback right now. Pullback level you're looking for is kind of around, believe it or not, you need a major pullback to about 315 if you can. If not, a minor support level will be about 324 if you could get that. Spain, which is the next country here. You could see definitely not bullish on the sentiment's not bullish, not even above the cloud, due to everything that's going on in Spain. It did break through a resistance level of 73.84, which is good. Now we got to see basically it go with conviction. It's got to hold at 73.84 basically as a support moving forward. If it does, then this thing does have a potential of going up, maybe back into the 8,000 levels or so forth, but we got to wait and see. And you could see when it broke that resistance of 73.84, it's kind of started a trend here, but we don't know how long that's going to keep on going, because we are hitting all these minor support levels, minor resistance levels now, which is getting very, very close to. So the next 500 points in the Spain market are going to be very critical for it to sit there and penetrate. Italy, same thing as Spain. However, you got this big thick cloud hovering above it, so it's going to basically run into a lot of resistance right away. And if you look at this, this is basically chop that's going on. This was the bottom of the range. The top of the range is basically 17,000, and it's just kind of going really nasty right now. It did break for its major resistance level 14,727, and starting a trend now. Most likely it'll probably get to about 15,346, and at that point it'll probably have problems moving forward. Nordic here, as you could see, it's bullish trending here like every other country, and you can see that from the daily time frame too. It's getting close to its resistance level, basically at 80-90, and when it gets there, it'll be interesting to see exactly what happens with that one. Oslo, same thing, but it's basically at its resistance level right now, so it's going to be interesting to see. Switzerland, this is one that basically broke its resistance level. It's now getting to its next resistance level, which is all this patterns up here and so forth. So we're at one minor one right now. We'll probably get to about 6,600, which is a nice even number, and at that point it'll probably go for a pullback. We're looking for a pullback level, believe it or not, all the way down to about 62.23 or 61.33. So we definitely need a major pullback in order for this thing to keep on continuing to go up. Okay, Russia, really not doing anything right now, just kind of hanging around down here. Nothing really going on as far as Russia is concerned. Major resistance on this one's going to be 1478 moving forward, and support basically is going to be 1366 moving forward. Turkey, here you can see from the weekly time frame here, it's kind of pushed up a little, really not doing much at all at anything here, just kind of hanging around this consolidation pattern. It's broke with resistance level, but really didn't take off at all, and it's kind of at a major support level right now, 37.27. It's got to hold here. If it doesn't, this thing's going to sit there and start tanking, and it'll go down to about 35.98 moving forward. South Africa, really nothing going on right now. It's broken its resistance level, but really not completely. It's kind of hanging right around there. So it's got to really sit there and start moving with vengeance, but it really hasn't done anything at all. So now let's go over to Asia. Let's start off with Australia. Australia here looks like a bullish movement. It's at a major resistance level right now, which is basically a 4,400. It's got to sit there and start breaking that, but most likely it's going to sit there and pull back, because you could see this is just one big consolidation pattern right now, where we got to the top of the consolidation pattern. Make flow for give you a little blip where it goes up a couple points, but overall this thing's been holding right around the 4,400 level. Support on this one's going to be basically 42.16 moving forward. Hong Kong. Why are we going out of order? Let's just go to China and then work our way down. China here, you could see is basically at a support level, not a resistance level. And support level is basically right here, right around 2,200. It's got to sit there and hold that support level. If not, this thing can tank further. Resistance level it's got to break is basically 2280, and then it could get to 2398, which is the major support level, resistance level moving forward as far as China is concerned. Hong Kong, really going on, nothing going on. We're at a major resistance level right now, which is basically 20,319. It's got to sit there and break that level. If not, it's got a possibility going down to a major support level of 19,505 moving forward. I'm just going to go down the list here now. Korea here, you could see it's popped out its resistance level, but it's got a lot of resistance levels it's meeting up to right now. This thing definitely needs a pullback on this one too. 246 would be a good pullback level if it could pull back there, but you don't know what's going to happen with this one because this is kind of ugly. I would stay away from Korea for sure. Japan, nothing really going on at a resistance level 2, which is basically 92.47 moving forward. Support on this one's going to be 87.67. Tokyo, nothing going on. It still has to get to its resistance level at 782.30, and support on this one is going to be 734. Indian Sensex, it's popped out of the cloud now where sentiment's bullish here. over here, but instead of 18,000, it's just hovering right above it, where it's basically going to be its major resistance, which has had a hard time breaking forward. But you could see this thing's just consolidating. It looks very ugly. Malaysia has been a strong one, strong one, and you could see this thing's still on a tear going up. And this is probably one of the strongest countries exchanges right now is Malaysia, believe it or not, going strongest up. So that's very strong there. Let's go over to Canada. Canada here breaking this major broke through its major resistance level right around 12,000, popped its head up a little, but really nothing going on, because look at this. This is one big consolidation pattern here. Support on this one's going to be 11,670. Next resistance level is, believe it or not, it's going to be 12,400 moving forward. Mexico here. Mexico's still strong as far as the weekly is concerned. Daily's starting to get a little weak. It's telling you it's trying to do a pullback. Pullback level, support level, it's got a hold is 39,178. Resistance is basically going to be way up there, believe it or not, around 40,963. Let's go Colombia. Colombia here, it's at a resistance level basically right now, which is 13,507. If it could break there, it'll get to about 13,984. Support level on this one's going to be 13,189. Argentina, really nothing going on here. Resistance level is going to be 2546 moving forward, and support level on this one's going to be basically around 2400. Santiago, Chile. Really nothing going on this 144. It's at a minor resistance level right now. Major one's going to be a 4404, and support basically is going to be 4208 for the Santiago, Chile region. And lastly, Brazil. Brazil, nothing going on right now. Major resistance level is going to be basically 60,591. Support level is going to be 56,017 for Brazil. And now let's go over to the US side. Let's go look at the Dow futures first. Actually, let's go look at the NASDAQ, which is technology. And if you look at NASDAQ, you're approaching basically the high here, which is the pivot, which is basically 2791 moving forward. If you're looking at the highs of the bar, so you're getting very close to there. So it has a potential of basically bouncing off there. Major support level on this one's going to be right around 2648, which has got to hold in order to continue to go bullish. This does need a pullback. We're kind of looking for a pullback to roughly around 2648 if we can. If not, minor level is going to be 2740, but it needs a major one in order for it to move forward. Dow futures here. Resistance level, it's also approaching here. You could see at 13,273. It definitely needs a pullback level too. Pullback levels we're kind of looking for is around 2882 and also about 12,635 if we could get it. ES is here. Major resistance level 2 approaching. It needs to pull back to about 1360 or 1340 if we could get it. But here we're at a major level 2. And lastly, TF. And here, this is at a minor resistance level. Major's way up here, so there's nothing really on small caps that are going on. Typically, there isn't around this time of region at all. So the summary of everything, if you look at the global markets, we're basically approaching a lot of the major resistances out there. I'll be very, very careful in trying to put on a lot of new positions going long in any of the countries of the world, especially in the U.S. right now. I'll wait for a major pullback to occur or a medium pullback to occur, and then start looking at long positions if you already haven't not entered long already in these markets. You should have already by now, but if you haven't, you can't. This is a deadly time to put on new positions. So I'll be patient and kind of wait towards maybe at the end of this month. Going into September, we're going to get a major pullback correction where people take some profits, and at that point, it'll give us some opportunities to start looking to get into more other positions. That's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Speak to you next week.